It is now my pleasure to welcome to the stage AMGA's Board of Directors Chairman, Mr. Mike Bukosky, who also serves as the Chief Executive Officer of the University of Louisville Physicians. Mike?
Thank you, Don. Good job. Okay, brother. Good job. Thank you, Don. Good morning. I'm delighted to welcome all of you here today at the 2013 AMGA Annual Conference, Learning from the Best. I see many familiar faces in this room this morning. It's an honor to be among the ranks of such elite healthcare leadership. If my face is not familiar to you, here are just a few things you might want to know about me. I was raised in Pennsylvania and spent many years in Texas and Illinois. I grew up a New York Yankee fan and a New York Giant fan. Some of my colleagues on the board know that. And even today, pictures of Mantle, Ruth, and Maris are on my office wall, a rare sight in Louisville, Kentucky, where I am, as Don said, the CEO of the University of Louisville Physicians, a faculty of over 600. While Louisville has a beautiful AAA baseball stadium called Louisville Slugger Field, its real love, its true religion, is reserved for the fastest 2 minutes in sports, the Kentucky Derby. And no, I do not have extra tickets and did not bring any for May. Also, college basketball and boxing legend Muhammad Ali, who was born and raised in Louisville. You should also know that my wife of 37 years, Judy, is here, and hopefully she'll continue to hang with me over the years. We remain very close to our two daughters, wonderful young women, as different as night and day. One frugal, one not so much. One a rock-solid Republican, Brooke. The other, Tara, equally committed at times to voting in the opposite direction. She is getting married in a few weeks in Dallas, Texas. So if you see me working at the concierge or parking cars this afternoon and this weekend, I am looking for any additional income I could get. So you could say that the opportunities that I have had living in communities with vastly different perspectives, that my appreciation of competitive sports and ultimately parenthood have taught me to focus not on the differences, but on what we all have in common. Today, those of us in this room may have widely different perspectives, but we have chosen to come together to collaborate and learn from each other. Whether you come from a physician group of 1,200 or a physician group of 100, you know the challenge for all of us, for every one of us, is the same: to provide leadership in times of change during a period of historic transformation for healthcare in the United States. This is our time. This is our time. The time to step up and act. And this conference offers us a unique opportunity to listen to each other, to plan for the changes that we face, and to design the future of our industry. We have all faced plenty of change before, that's for certain. Consider the evolution in healthcare delivery. Just since the 1940s, when the first prepaid group healthcare plans were introduced, a development viewed as radical at the time. In the 1950s, hospital care costs doubled, creating panic for patients and employers. In the 1960s came concerns of a physician shortage and a surge in health insurance companies. In the 1970s came HMOs, more soaring costs, plunging patient satisfaction, and American medicine was officially declared in crisis. And so it goes, more change. In the 1980s, more privatization and corporate control. Medicare and private insurance shifted to payments based on diagnosis instead of treatment. In the 90s, healthcare costs increased at double the rate of inflation. The state of healthcare today, we still face rising costs. Over 12% of our population is still without health insurance. Physician reimbursement will drop with healthcare reform. Overall patient satisfaction is low. We have a shortage of physicians in many specialties, and we are facing major legislation surrounding healthcare. Does all of this sound familiar? Our industry, our employees, our patients, and our physicians are looking for leadership, and they're looking at us. So lead we must, charting a course that strengthens our organizations and the quality of care for our patients. This is a personal leadership challenge, a personal opportunity for each of us to examine the purpose and values of our organizations, to serve as models and teachers as we work to change their culture, to solve complex problems, and ultimately to discover a deeper sense of personal purpose and satisfaction along the way. As long as I have been in this industry, spoken with many of you here today, engaged with executives from other industries, watched the leaders of our country in times of great transformation, and read and studied many styles of leadership, I am struck by the fact that there seem to be three core traits that define great leadership. Three characteristics that rise to the surface that we can all embrace as we stand up to lead our organizations. First, great leaders listen. When I say listen, I am thinking of a parable about a young prince in Asia back in the 3rd century who was being prepared to succeed his father as king. As one of his lessons, this young man's master teacher sends him alone in the forest to listen to the sounds and to report back what he hears. The prince returns and tells his master that it was a rich experience. I could hear the birds sing, the leaves rustle, the crickets chirp, the bees buzz, and the wind whisper. The teacher tells him to go back and listen more intent. As the story goes, the prince listens more acutely and slowly. He reached a state of enlightenment. The prince returned and told his teacher, when I listened more closely, I could hear the unheard, the flowers opening, the sun warming the earth, and the grass drinking the morning dew. This pleases the teacher, who tells him only when a leader has learned to listen beyond what people say and hear what is coming from their hearts, understand their feelings, their pains and complaints, can he hope to inspire his people. The demise of states, he tells the prince, comes when leaders listen only to superficial words and do not penetrate deeply into the souls of the people to hear their true opinions, their feelings, and desires. The moral for me, listening and more importantly, hearing what our employees and your patients are saying and what they aren't saying will provide you with invaluable information to help you lead your organization through even the most turbulent times. So really, great leaders listen. Secondly, great leaders prepare. In his book, Great by Choice, Jim Collins tells the story of the race to the South Pole in 1911, with two expedition leaders in competition, Roald Amundsen and Robert Fallon Scott, two leaders on a quest for extreme achievement in an extreme environment. As Collins puts it, framing them as models for making decisions in uncertain environments like the one we face in healthcare today. The two teams had to cover 1,400 miles round trip on their icy journey, bringing men and supplies in temperatures below zero. Amundsen was a planner who did research and built a foundation for his quest. He apprenticed with Eskimos, worked with sled dogs, and ate raw dolphin for strength. He prepared for the unexpected situations, bringing extra supplies and extra tools. Once underway, he marked his way with great care, preparing for unforeseen events. Scott, on the other hand, did very little planning and very little research. As a result, he chose ponies over dogs, had inadequate food and supplies, and used untested motorized sleds that quickly failed. No surprise here. Amundsen won. He reached the South Pole and his team returned home safely. For Scott's team, it was a devastating defeat. They reached the pole 34 days after Amundsen. During the return trip, they all perished and were found just 11 miles from base camp. The message for all of us: listen, gather information from all, including those who have new conventional ideas. Prepare when you don't know the exact terrain you will face, the barriers you might encounter, and surround yourself with those who know the terrain and understand the barriers, plan for the uncertainties. In this room, in this organization, we have tremendous experience. And at this conference, we have opportunities to explore new ways to meet the needs of our organizations and patients in our rapidly changing environment. So great leaders listen and prepare, and finally, great leaders act. I've been in healthcare for over 35 years, and one pattern I've seen is that many healthcare leaders and organizations seem to look to government or someone else to solve the issues posed by ever-changing challenges in the healthcare landscape. We wait for the rule changes, and then we react, passionately at times. But at AMGA, we see things a little differently. It is our responsibility to shape the future and solve the issues. It's our responsibility to take action. As leaders, we must embrace our mission and make decisions about ways to improve value and patient care in this changing environment. We must work to improve communication and collaboration within our organizations. And we must get the message to our communities about what we do well and get the message to our patients that healthcare is based on a partnership and that the patients, along with their caregivers, must take full responsibility for their health. Leadership in healthcare today is not easy. Our decisions involve uncertainty, anxiety, stress, and sometimes the unfavorable reactions of others. Our organizations may vary in size and mission. Our communities and patient populations may differ greatly. But we all have the ability to unite, and we all have the ability to lead. Lead this association, our organizations, our physicians, our communities, with results that can transform lives. For me, there are great insights and stories like the race to the South Pole and other examples I shared with you today. But I also find inspiration in leaders of government and social movements who, over time, have seized the moment and provided leadership in difficult situations, sometimes with life or death consequences.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan.
We stand today at the threshold of a great event, both in the life of the United Nations and in the life of mankind.
We shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe to assure the survival and the success of liberty.
My fellow citizens, let no one doubt that this is a difficult and dangerous effort on which we have set out.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed,
which firmly and unmistakably underlines
we believe there should be individuals. We're all unequal. No one, thank heavens, is quite like anyone else, however much the socialists may pretend otherwise. And we believe that everyone has the right to be unequal. But to us, every human being is equally important.
General Secretary Gorbachev, if you seek peace, if you seek prosperity for the Soviet Union and Eastern Europe, if you seek liberalization, come here to this gate. Mr. Gorbachev, open this gate. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
This massive attack was intended to break our spirit. It has not done that. It's made us stronger, more determined, and more resolved.
Great examples of leadership in uncertain times and inspiring to me. Every one of us will be defined by our own moment in time, by the choices we make, the obstacles we overcome, the dreams we achieve, and maybe most of all, by the goals we don't quite reach. Whether in victory or defeat, how we choose to handle these moments is what marks the best of us long after we're gone. It is, in the end, how we are remembered. I thank you. I'm honored to serve you and AMGA and look forward to working together to shape the evolution of our industry. Thank you. Thank you. Before we begin today's program, I'd like to take a moment to recognize AMGA's corporate partners this morning. The AMGA Distinguished Corporate Partner Award is presented annually to an industry partner organization for providing excellent service and value to medical groups and their patients. This year, we honor an organization that has been an avid supporter of AMGA and its members, and this award demonstrates our appreciation for their continued support. The recipient of the 2013 AMGA Distinguished Corporate Partner Award is Exact Sciences. Exact Sciences is an executive corporate partner of AMGA. In addition, they have been active supporters of AMGA's educational activities, including the